Mount Doom cubicle.
Gotta interview Sauron later. Gotta be professional.
Is it taste?
Is it salary based? Alright, today we head to Middle-earth to discuss the maniacal monster that is Gollum, because somebody's making a game, and it's all about Gollum before Lord of the Rings ever took place. Now, Lord of the Rings has been in the news a lot lately because of the show that's happening on Amazon, obviously because of the Gollum game that is coming out, and also because of the MMO that was recently canceled. Which is a shame because I was really looking forward to it. However, we're not focusing on that today. Today we are talking about everything Gollum. What do we know? What do we hope? What do you expect? And just what's going on in that, I was going to say maniacal again, but not to be repetitive. What's going on in that crazy brain?
Yeah, and we'll give final thoughts, any predictions on the popularity, what kind of reaction we think it'll get.
The story for Lord of the Rings Gollum, it takes us to Barad-dûr, which is the Dark Tower within Mordor, and it was going to take place in there, and it's also going to take place in Mirkwood, which is where Legolas is from, I believe.
Yeah, very, very. It's that kind of interested me. I'm not surprised that. Well, I am surprised. I'm surprised. So we have two things right off the bat that we don't know.
Yeah, we really don't.
What is he doing in Mordor? Now, maybe a hardcore Lord of the Rings fan knows this already. I don't know. What is he doing in Mordor? Why is he a slave there, captured? Because I thought once he got the ring, he didn't lose it until Bilbo took it.
Yeah, that's my thought as well, actually. I'd really never... And again, it's really hard to explore it.
They had said that this all happened prior to the books.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that would include the Hobbit tales, not just the Lord of the Rings books.
I would assume, too.
That is the thing with Gollum. They can get very creative, and I'm sure they will, because he is... When he finally dies, he's what, 600-700 years old?
Yes, he lived a very long life.
Like elf-like in the fact that his life spans ages.
And there's so many things you can explore with this game. And we didn't actually mention who it's being made by, just because I have a hard time understanding how it's pronounced.
It's German.
Daedalic Entertainment, I think. I don't really know a whole lot about them. I know that they're a very well-known European developer. They've won a bunch of awards. They made a lot of really great games.
They said that when I was reading about them, it said they were known for famous point-and-click games.
Yeah, again, as I said, I would be lying if I said I knew a lot about them. They made State of Mind, Blades of Shogun, The Long Journey Home. They made a bunch of other really great games. However, again, these games, I can't say I've played them too much. This is a AAA title, and there's a lot behind this. I mean, this is a big game and a big franchise, so there's a lot of pressure to create something truly special.
Yeah, even more so considering the timing of it with the Amazon series coming up.
Which is, when does the Amazon series release? 2023?
I don't know.
It's a good... I know that it got delayed because of COVID, the filming.
Which this game did too as well, actually.
It was supposed to release this year, and then it got pushed back to next year, I believe. We don't know a time frame at this point. There was some cool gameplay that was displayed a couple months back, and you can see a bunch of it on Steam. They have different pictures, they see different gameplay clips, and it's kind of cool. I will have that link below so you guys can check it out. Again, this game is very far out, so there's not a lot we really have on it. It's going to explore
some tidbits,
It's going to explore stealth and agility. It's going to be a very stealth-driven game, similar to like Dishonored and Thief, and I guess you could lean into like Assassin's Creed a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Because I mean, and it all makes sense because we know
he's a tiny little thing.
He's a tiny creature, and yes, he's not like to be taken lightly, but he is not a hero of Middle-earth.
He's not gonna come in swinging a sword, taking down like 6 different orcs all at once. Like, it's not gonna happen.
I do feel like it's gonna be one of those games where you are going to have to pay attention to like stamina, energy, strength, your abilities, whatever you might have. Whatever they eventually give this character.
That's actually really cool that you brought that up, because this game is going to be releasing to all platforms when it comes out next year. Next gen consoles, PC, all these things. And specifically on PlayStation 5, it is going, because PlayStation 5 has a DualSense controller, and that it has a really interesting technology I said that wrong. It has really interesting technology behind it.
We have the technology.
Yeah, essentially the DualSense controller for PlayStation 5 is going to have really sensitive triggers that can do a bunch of really cool things. And one of the things that the developer for Gollum had mentioned was that as your character gets tired, there's going to be some resistance on your triggers. So maybe like if you're trying to jump or something, there's going to be resistance on the trigger and you're not going to be able to pull it, and you're just going to fall off a cliff.
And that's that. Yeah.
Or maybe like if you're running and then you try to like assassinate somebody from behind, there'll be resistance when you try to do that because you're just tired, you can't do it. There's a whole bunch of really cool things you can do with the DualSense controller, and it's really exciting to kind of like get a sneak peek at that really. And then with the PlayStation 4 controller, it had actual speakers within it, which I'm assuming DualSense for PlayStation 5 will include that as well. You could do all these different cool things where you would run over a brook when you're playing Shadow of Mordor, and you would hear the brook trickling as you run over it. So it's really kind of immersive in that sense as well. And I'm guessing that is going to be something that this game also incorporates as well. So a bunch of cool stuff.
Just based off the trailers that we've seen and the articles that we have read,
Yeah.
I'm imagining, and you even wrote it down here too. Where is it? Let's see. Where is it? Over the top.
Oh,
as compared to true. It's not, instead of being looking like real.
It's not going to be real.
It's going to be more like over the top type styling.
And that's actually something, again, that the developers at Daedalic had mentioned, was that it's going to really focus on a great experience, over the top graphical experience that really incorporates a bunch of insane elements. And it's not supposed to be some really altruistic, very realistic, grounded experience. That's not what this story is about. And it's a story in a mythical world, in a mythical place, where you play this crazy creature. I mean, there's no realistic thing about it, so it should really embrace that.
I don't know. I'm really excited though. I'm excited to know what he's doing in Mordor.
Yeah, that is a good point.
I'm excited to know, does he have the ring? Did he just stow it away somewhere?
He's gotta
and then
have
he
the
got
ring,
captured?
right?
Did he like put it in the mountain? Yeah.
But the problem with that is,
if he loses the ring, that would imply that at some point
somebody takes it.
Yeah.
Well, he is a
So who took
slave
it?
in
Why?
Barad-dûr.
And then how do you get the ring back?
Yeah, he's a slave in Barad-dûr, which kind of leans into the fact that maybe they took the ring, and maybe he's trying to get it back.
Or maybe it was still in his cave.
That could be it. Or maybe it's in Mirkwood, and he like goes to Mirkwood to get it.
Yeah.
Because when you think about
Why
it,
is he going to Mirkwood?
yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's where the elves are. That has no bearing on really his backstory at all.
Yeah.
And if he has the ring at any point, it really leans into an unfair advantage for the player, because he can put the ring on, and then he's just invisible for the rest of the game.
But it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense to me though, because if he lost the ring to a creature in Mordor,
yeah,
I'm assuming
they would give it to Sauron.
9 out of 10 creatures would probably give it to Sauron.
you would think, but the orcs are pretty messed up creatures.
And I don't feel like any of the elves would actually want to claim the ring.
Probably not. They have their own,
because
too.
they know about it.
They know about it, and they have their own.
So a lot of questions with no answers right now. Unfortunately, the gameplay does look beautiful.
It
And
really
I'm sure
does.
It's going to be on all consoles.
It's going to be on
And
all consoles.
PC.
I am curious. It releases in 2022. I'm wondering if the game is going to axe PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and just focus on next gen, because it's pretty far away at this point. If it releases like next fall, I don't know if it would make a lot of sense for them to release it for Xbox One and PlayStation 4, because at that point they're 2 years out of date. And the technology,
I'll still have my Xbox One.
I'll have mine too, to be honest, but the technology is just so outpaced at that point, because you have very recently Xbox had announced that their AMD technology for next gen consoles was released to all developers at this point. So everybody has the technology, and everybody is trying to create their games for next gen consoles. So I don't really, even if they did release it for one in PlayStation 4, would you even want to get it? I mean, if it had that kind of, if it took away from the game just because of, you heard my cat, I'm sorry, just because of how bad the graphics are, the curve, you know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like, for me personally, I'm not going to go out and buy a new console just to play this game. Now,
Yeah.
could it affect gameplay? Absolutely.
Because the game will specifically include ray tracing technology. This is something very big that's been taking the gaming world by storm in the last couple, I guess you could say almost a year at this point. It was introduced originally for Minecraft, and recently it's been included in a lot of different games. And it's something that is very next-gen exclusive or PC exclusive. It's not something you can find for Xbox One or PlayStation 4. This game is going to include the DualSense technology, and it's going to include ray tracing. And if you don't have a next-gen console, you're not going to be able to experience either.
It's all going to be lost on you.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
Granted, if you don't have a DualSense controller because you have an Xbox, it's going to be lost on you anyway. Which is kind of a shame, in my opinion.
It is a shame. As I was reading, and the more I read, and I think we're on the same page with this, it does seem that it's geared more towards maximizing the features of PlayStation.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's a shame too.
And then possibly a bit of Steam.
It's interesting because when I was looking through a different article that was breaking down an interview that the developer had, they were explaining that the game is going to take place and it's going to kind of show the evolution of him from being...
He might actually look like a human, or I guess a halfling.
Exactly, yeah.
Because he was Hobbit-like.
Yeah, he was a Hobbit. He wasn't a Hobbit specifically, but he was a different kind of Hobbit, I guess.
Similar to Hobbits, though.
And it's going to kind of show his evolution from being almost humanistic to this kind of creature that we know in Lord of the
Fun-loving
Rings.
Smeagol wants to go fishing with his buddy Deagle. Falls in the river.
Dark story ending there. Deagle done messed up.
Falls in the river, finds a ring, and that's the end.
That's the end of Deagle. We never see him
The
again.
end of Deagle and Smeagol, too.
Gollum arises. Yeah. Well, it was his birthday, so we got to give him that, right?
Yeah,
Kind of.
but
You don't give him a pass for killing somebody
that's
on your
not
birthday.
a good excuse. It's
No.
my birthday. I want to kill you. And
Pass.
it is. To be fair, this story is fascinating to me because
Yeah.
a lot of questions that we don't have answers to. They have a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah, they do.
This is
Because
happening.
Tolkien never really touched on this in a lot of depth.
He doesn't get
which is
into it in
rare.
much depth, and it's set way before the stories that we are all familiar with. And it is one of those things because, like, there are moments where you really don't like Gollum, Smeagol in the books or movies.
Yeah.
But the reality is that he's really a very tragic character. I mean, we saw the ring, and we know what it's capable of. So it really
You
just
see it kind of really break him down.
yeah,
and destroy him.
it basically ruined. It wrecks his whole life.
And that's actually another really interesting aspect of the game because it takes on decision making. And it really leans into the whole Smeagol versus Gollum.
Almost like an RPG-ish kind
Yeah,
of.
and I'm interested because apparently at this point, in all of the beta footage, it's shown in the form of dialogue choices. So nothing like in Star Wars or these action RPGs where you're in the middle of a fight and then a timer pops up for you to make a decision, like save him or kill him, stuff like that. Which I'm assuming that will be integrated into this game. It would make sense. But it really makes me wonder, how does that change the story? It has to change the story, right?
It has to.
If
Either
you-
for him or for what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the two.
Because if you take the more Smeagol-esque choices, you're going to be like, what, a nicer character, I guess? But that wouldn't
let's
in the
have
end.
tea.
Yeah, like that wouldn't at the end really lean into like, because he turns into Gollum anyway at the end, you know?
In the end,
We're not getting back to Deagle and making up. Like, it's not happening.
what if he like resurrected Eagle
I know, like he's like doing a ritual to rise him. That'd be messed up.
using the ring?
Yeah, well, I don't know if we could use it that way. He
That-
gets all the elves together to do it in Mirkwood for him. Right? Maybe that's the
Hey.
backstory. I don't know.
Hey.
It is exciting. And it's pretty cool to see that this game is being made. There's a whole bunch of questions about it.
And they did say, so you wrote down notes here, and I read this as well. The developers had said that there will be other environments
Yeah.
outside of Mordor.
Well, because you think-
so we're not going to just be in Mordor, and possibly not even just in Mirkwood. He might actually go elsewhere as well.
Well, because, I mean, my logic was there's a lot of distance between Barad-dûr and Mirkwood. I mean, and you're going to have to traverse it, I'm assuming. Unless maybe somehow, like, elves kidnapping him and then you wake up and you're in Mirkwood. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how you're going to get there.
I don't get why he's involved.
It doesn't make sense to me.
I
and
think you said that like 3
the
times.
problem with the whole ring aspect is even if he does have the ring and he puts the ring on and it's like a timer thing, so you have the ring and it keeps you invisible for like 30 seconds, that doesn't make sense because it's not what the ring does. The ring isn't timed. Like, you put it on and it's just, you're good.
But the
Unless
eye-
maybe like the Eye of Sauron can find it.
The eye can still see you.
That's true. So maybe
The Nazgul will be drawn to you.
Oh.
Probably why he didn't wear it very often.
So maybe you like have a 30-second timer and then the
just
Nazgul gets you?
His stroke.
The Nazgul?
No, like
Stroking that Nazgul.
whenever we see,
He's just like petting the Nazgul as it
whenever
goes
we
by.
see, nice Nazgul,
Good Nazgul.
good Nazgul.
It's so bizarre.
Whenever we see like the clips like of Gollum having the ring in the Misty Mountains, he's never wearing it.
That is true.
He's always like,
He's watching it, petting it.
yeah,
It's
he's
weird.
like looking at it and talking to it and
Yeah.
petting it, but he's never actually wearing it. Probably because he knows that it'll draw things to him that want it that
That's
are
a good
much
point.
stronger than
And
him.
that's actually a really good way to work around it, actually. Hey, you ever think it's funny? Gollum has a loincloth on with one pocket for the ring. Like, that's the only point he's wearing that clothing.
He doesn't.
Like, you know, like, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't cover anything.
I saw, where was it? It
It
said
just
that,
has this raggedy little pocket he puts the ring in.
what else? There was other things he had in his pocket.
String.
It said he had a rock to sharpen his teeth with,
Oh, God.
and then he had like bat wings. I don't know why. I don't.
So he can fly.
I don't.
He whips them out.
Fly, fly, like Wizard of Oz. Fly, fly.
It's crazy. Like,
Gollum's such a wild
That's not
character.
how that works, though. It's not Harry Potter.
No,
We're
it's not.
We're asking. Yeah.
he like throws the ring and tries to jump and catch it with his bat wings. I don't know. It's bizarre. I mean, and the thing is, also another thing, the voice actor, I don't know his name, who plays
Imagine-
the character Gollum. He's not going to be in this
Yeah.
game. So don't anticipate that.
Imagine Gollum in like a suit.
And tie.
Ooh.
But he's still like.
His like 3 strings of hair.
He's still
tied
like
back.
stooped over though.
That would be a wild.
Maybe that'll be the ending cutscene. He'll be like in a suit and tie in Mirkwood.
Gollum 9 to 5.
The executive Gollum. Gotta talk professional
Mount-
for the executives.
Mount Doom. Mount Doom cubicle.
Gotta interview Sauron later. Gotta be professional.
Is it?
Is it
Taste?
is it salary based?
Do I have?
Do I have benefits? Will I get medical insurance?
Dental?
Well, he doesn't. Need
He needs
medical.
dent. Well,
He's got his rock.
He's got a rock.
He's good, man.
That's his dental.
He's
insurance.
fine.
He's gonna sharpen
Everything's
it.
fine.
Dental?
man.
I have dental. It's a rock.
All right. So, you have any final thoughts before you wrap today up? Because we're about to be at the end of our time.
I think perhaps maybe we could finish on this. Do we think? What are our thoughts on this game being popular or not?
I think it'll win a ton of awards. To be honest,
Do.
it'll win a ton of awards just because it's Lord of the Rings. That'll give it a free pass
No.
on that alone. Do I think it'll be extremely popular? I think it'll sell a bunch of copies, but I don't think it'll be like over the top popular. I think it's going to be a stealth game, and being a stealth game, it's going to kind of fly under the radar.
Do I think that doesn't mean it'll be bad?
I think it'll be a good game, but I think not a lot of people love the whole stealth.
Yeah.
Because think about it. Every time stealth is optional, do you pick stealth?
Very, very seldom.
Yeah,
To
very
be
seldom.
honest, I usually get impatient.
Exactly, and that's the problem.
Like, you want to just go.
Well, I mean, you're playing a video game. Usually, you want some instant action, some gratification, and sneaking
You
around.
want to spend 5 minutes
Sneaking. Sneaking around though really is like I'm not personally that kind of gamer. I'm not trying to spend 30 minutes sneaking through like a map.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I'm the same way. It's hard for me to really just kind of settle back and just play a stealth game for what it is.
I do think this game will be popular. I think it will sell well. I think the game itself will be very solid. It'll be a fun, good game, well done, especially now they're pushing it out even further. I do think it is going to suffer the same fate that, for whatever bizarre reason, all Lord of the Rings games suffer from.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Lord of the Rings-
None of them perform as well as you
Yeah,
would think.
Lord of the Rings is so popular as a book, as a story, as the films.
Shadow of Mordor had the same thing.
Yeah, but the video games just, for whatever reason, maybe it's because that Lord of the Rings fans, there aren't too many gamers among them, possibly.
Possibly. That is a good point, actually. I guess. I don't know.
But it is very interesting because Shadow of Mordor suffered the same fate, and there was actually a Lord of the Rings MMO a long time ago, and it was very well made, but it never was popular, and they actually shut the servers down a little while back, and then they canceled the MMO they are making recently, which I would have been all over. Like, that would have been so incredible, but they canceled it, which is such a shame.
It's
So,
something about Lord of the Rings video games. They just don't.
They have like a curse on. I don't know.
They don't seem to get a fair rap.
either way, we are gonna get this game.
If the game is
next
solid,
year.
if the game is solid, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Bring it on.
Unless, it's the curse of all the others.
Hopefully it won't. Hopefully it'll perform well.
That's not, and
and
it's
it will
not
make a
to
lot of
say
sales.
that Lord of the Rings games have been bad. It's
No.
just to say they don't ever seem to become
They really never get, like, super popular.
Yeah.
I think there's so many different things that could really pull into that, but we are not going to get into them because we are up against it.
This one does have one good thing going for us. This is
What?
my last comment on this. I will say that this one has a bit of a unique story with a character that is known.
Gollum's a very popular
known,
character.
but also lots of things we don't know about him.
You also almost have the what's it called when you're not a villain or a hero?
Anti-hero.
It almost has like the anti-hero feel to it, which is huge at this point, like Deadpool and all that stuff.
Yeah, because
It's getting really popular.
You're not like you're not an Aragorn, the savior king. You're not
Sauron.
You're not a wizard like Gandalf. You're really kind of just a gangly, pitiful little creature. So
it's a really interesting road to take with any game, and I think it'll be really, really cool to see the final product they come out with. I just think there's so many different
ways you can do it. Like there's
so many ways you can go with this.
So many. I'm excited. I hope that the studio has some Lord of the Rings fans in it that put some love.
Oh, I'm sure.
Put some love into this
I'm
game.
sure they would have had
to. The graphics, the visuals we've seen in the trailers look beautiful.
They do. And it's I'm sure they have a bunch of different people that are huge Lord of the Rings fans that have really poured over the lore behind the world of Middle-earth and just the whole aspect of what Gollum / Smeagol was.
What he's all about.
Yeah, they sat down and really thought about it, you know?
Yeah.
Alright, that's all I have. Comment, let us know what you think. Tell us what you are anticipating for the Gollum game. There's a whole bunch that we're just excited about, and we want to know your thoughts on it as well. Until next time, though, like, comment, and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, we are signing out.
See you later, everyone.
Take
Thanks
it
for
easy.
watching.
Witness is what? You gotta finish your sentence. Over.
That's it. My sentence is over.
Your sentence is what, Brian?
No,